Hi, and welcome to English Channel. Are you learning English? Great. Let's learn English with a very interesting story. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Let's get started.
1. Introduction. Imagine a land where great rivers gave birth to the first cities in human history. In this land, powerful kings carved laws into clay and built strong walls around their people. Mighty empires rose with hope and pride, then slowly fell like sand in the desert wind. For more than 5,000 years, the Middle East has been the stage of humanity's earliest and most powerful stories. Here, people created the first alphabets and wrote the first records of life. This region shaped trade, culture, religion, and the future of many nations. From ancient inventions to modern oil conflicts, its story still influences our world today. 2. The dawn of civilization. Mesopotamia and Egypt, 3100 to 2000 BC. Our story begins in Mesopotamia, a land between the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. The name Mesopotamia means the land between two rivers. The rivers gave water, rich soil, and life to the people. Because of this, farming became easier and cities began to grow. The Sumerians were the first people to build true cities like Uruk and Ur. In these cities, thousands of people lived and worked together. The Sumerians created one of the world's first writing systems, called cuneiform. They pressed small signs into soft clay tablets to record information. They also invented the wheel, which changed travel and trade forever. In the center of their cities, they built tall temples called ziggurats. These temples were places to pray to gods who controlled nature and weather. At the same time, another great civilization grew along the Nile River in Egypt. The Nile flooded every year and made the land rich for farming. The Egyptians built strong kingdoms under powerful kings called pharaohs. They built the great pyramids as tombs for their rulers. These early civilizations shaped the future of human history. 3. The Age of Law and Iron, 1800 to 1200 BC. This period was a time of lawmakers and powerful warriors across the Middle East. Strong kingdoms competed for land, trade routes, and control of important cities. One of the most famous rulers was King Hammurabi of Babylon. He created one of the first complete written law codes in history. The Code of Hammurabi was carved on a tall stone pillar. It listed nearly 300 laws for daily life and business. These laws covered family, trade, crime, and punishment. One famous rule was the idea of an eye for an eye. This meant punishment should match the crime in a clear way. The code helped create order and fairness in society. At the same time, the Hittites in Anatolia became masters of iron technology. They learned how to make strong iron tools and sharp weapons. Iron weapons were stronger and cheaper than bronze ones. Because of this, armies became more powerful and dangerous. The kingdoms built alliances, sent messages, and traded goods across long distances. The Middle East was now a true international world. Diplomacy, war, and trade connected many different cultures together. 4. Collapse and rebirth. 1200 to 550 BC. around 1200 BC, the Old World suddenly began to fall apart. Cities were destroyed, trade stopped, and many kingdoms disappeared. Historians call this event the Late Bronze Age collapse. No one knows the exact cause of this great disaster. Some believe wars, invasions, and natural disasters happened at the same time. For many years, the region faced chaos and fear. But from the ruins, new powers slowly began to rise again. The Phoenicians became skilled sailors and brave sea traders. They traveled across the Mediterranean and built new colonies. They also created a simple alphabet with easy letters. This alphabet later influenced the Greek and Latin systems. Meanwhile, the Assyrians built a strong and feared military empire. Their army used iron weapons and strict discipline. Later, Babylon rose again under King Nebuchadnezzar II. He rebuilt the city and made it rich and beautiful. The famous Hanging Gardens became a symbol of this rebirth. 5. The Super Empires and Cultural Harmony, 550 to 64 BC. In 550 BC, a new power rose in the Middle East under Cyrus the Great. He was the founder of the Persian Empire, one of the largest empires in history. Cyrus united many lands under one strong and organized system of rule. He allowed different peoples to keep their own customs and religions. This policy of tolerance helped create peace across a vast territory. The empire was divided into provinces called satrapies for better control. Royal roads connected distant cities and improved communication and trade. Because of this system, the Persian Empire became stable and wealthy. However, this great power did not last forever. In the 4th century BC, a young Macedonian king named Alexander the Great invaded Persia. Alexander was a brilliant military leader with bold dreams. He defeated the Persian armies and took control of their empire. His conquests spread Greek language, art, and ideas across the region. This period is known as the Hellenistic Age. Greek culture mixed with local traditions in Egypt, Persia, and beyond. New cities were founded, including Alexandria in Egypt. Alexandria became a famous center of learning and knowledge. Scholars gathered there to study science, math, and philosophy. The blending of cultures created a unique and rich civilization. This era changed the Middle East and connected East and West deeply. 6. The rivalry between Rome and Persia, 64 BC, 632 AD. After the Hellenistic kingdoms weakened, a new struggle began in the region. The Middle East became a battlefield between two powerful empires. In the west stood the Roman Empire, later called the Byzantine Empire. In the east rose the Parthian Empire of Persia. Later, the Sasanian Empire replaced the Parthians as Persia's new ruler. For centuries, Rome and Persia fought many long and costly wars. They competed for control of trade routes and rich borderlands. Cities changed hands many times during these conflicts. Fortresses were built, and armies marched across deserts and mountains. This rivalry shaped politics and life for hundreds of years. At the same time, deep spiritual changes were taking place. In Judea, a new religion called Christianity was born. Its teachings spread quickly across the Roman world. Many early Christians faced persecution for their beliefs. However, in the 4th century, Emperor Constantine accepted Christianity. It later became the official religion of the Roman Empire. This decision changed the cultural and spiritual landscape forever. By the 7th century, both Rome and Persia were weakened by war. A new force would soon rise and transform the region once again. 7. A messenger from the desert and the rise of Islam. 610 to 750 AD. In the early 7th century, the great empires of Rome and Persia were weak from long wars. In the Arabian Peninsula, many tribes lived separately and often fought each other. In 610 AD, a man named Muhammad began to receive messages in Mecca. He taught that there is only one God and called people to justice and kindness. At first, many leaders in Mecca rejected his message. Muhammad and his followers faced strong opposition and hardship. In 622 AD, he and his followers moved to Medina. This event, called the Hijra, marked the beginning of the Islamic calendar. In Medina, Muhammad united different tribes under the new faith of Islam. Religion became both a spiritual belief and a guide for daily life. After Muhammad died in 632 AD, his successors were called caliphs. The first 4 caliphs led a period of rapid expansion. Arab armies moved quickly into Syria, Egypt, and Persia. Within decades, a vast new empire was created. Arabic language and Islamic culture spread across many lands. However, disagreements soon appeared about who should lead the community. Some believed leadership should stay within Muhammad's family. Others believed the leader should be chosen by the community. This conflict led to the division between Sunni and Shia Muslims. The effects of this division are still felt today. 8. The Golden Age of Islam, 750 to 1258 AD. In 750 AD, the Abbasid dynasty came to power. They moved the capital of the Islamic world to Baghdad. Baghdad quickly became one of the greatest cities on earth. It was a center of culture, science, and trade. Scholars from many lands gathered there to study and teach. The famous House of Wisdom was built in the city. In this place, scholars translated Greek and Roman books into Arabic. They studied math, medicine, astronomy, and philosophy. Muslim scholars made important discoveries and new ideas. In mathematics, they developed algebra and improved number systems. In medicine, doctors like Ibn Sina wrote detailed medical books. These books were later used in Europe for many centuries. Astronomers studied the stars and improved scientific instruments. Philosophers discussed reason, faith, and the nature of life. Trade also grew during this golden age. Merchants traveled along the Silk Road and across the seas. Goods, ideas, and cultures moved between Asia, Africa, and Europe. The Islamic world became a bridge between East and West. This period remains one of the brightest chapters in Middle Eastern history. 9. Crusades, Mongols, and fragmentation. 1095 to 1500 AD. The golden age of the Islamic world did not last forever. New dangers came from both the west and the east. In 1095, European Christian leaders called for a holy war. They wanted to take Jerusalem from Muslim control. Thousands of knights and soldiers marched toward the Middle East. In 1099, the Crusaders captured Jerusalem after a violent siege. This event shocked the Islamic world deeply. For nearly 2 centuries, Crusader states remained in the region. Muslim leaders fought back to defend their lands. One famous leader was Saladin, who retook Jerusalem in 1187. Although battles continued, neither side gained lasting peace. While wars continued in the west, a greater storm rose in the east. The Mongols, fierce warriors from Central Asia, began their invasion. They conquered cities with speed and great destruction. In 1258, the Mongols attacked Baghdad, the Abbasid capital. The city was destroyed and countless people were killed. Libraries, palaces, and centers of learning were burned. This event ended the Abbasid Caliphate and shocked the world. Many believed the region would never recover. Yet, the Middle East showed strong resilience. The Mamluks in Egypt defeated the Mongols and stopped their advance. At the same time, new Turkish powers were rising in Anatolia. Among them, the Ottoman Turks slowly built a strong state. From the ruins of destruction, new empires prepared to shape the future. Ottoman supremacy and the sick man of Europe, 1300 to 1914 AD. Around 1300, a small Turkish state began to grow in Anatolia. This state later became the powerful Ottoman Empire. Under strong sultans, the Ottomans expanded across 3 continents. They conquered Constantinople in 1453 and made it their capital. The city was renamed Istanbul and became a great imperial center. At its height, the empire ruled lands from Vienna to Arabia and North Africa. Many different peoples lived under Ottoman control. Muslims, Christians, and Jews were allowed to practice their religions. The empire used a system that gave communities some local freedom. This helped keep peace in a large and diverse territory. For centuries, the Ottomans were a major world power. However, from the 18th century, the empire began to weaken. European nations grew stronger in industry, science, and military power. Nationalist movements also appeared among Ottoman subjects. Many groups wanted independence and their own nation-states. Because of these problems, the empire was called the sick man of Europe. In the 19th century, leaders tried to reform the system. The Tanzimat reforms aimed to modernize the army and government. New schools, laws, and institutions were introduced. Yet these changes came too late to fully save the empire. By the early 20th century, the Ottoman state was fragile and divided. 11 Sykes-Picot and artificial borders, 1914 to 1948 AD. World War I brought the final collapse of the Ottoman Empire. The empire joined the war, but was defeated by the Allied powers. During the war, Britain and France made a secret agreement in 1916. This agreement was known as the Sykes-Picot Agreement. It planned to divide Ottoman lands into areas of foreign control. Local people were not asked about their future. After the war, new borders were drawn across the Middle East. Countries such as Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Jordan were created. These borders often ignored ethnic and religious realities. Different groups were forced to live together in new states. This caused tension and conflict in many areas. At the same time, promises were made about a Jewish homeland in Palestine. In 1948, the State of Israel was officially established. Soon after, war broke out between Israel and Arab neighbors. Many Palestinians lost their homes during the conflict. This event became a deep and lasting wound in the region. The political map created after World War I shaped modern Middle Eastern history. Many present conflicts can be traced back to this period. The legacy of these artificial borders continues to influence the region today. 12. Lessons from the flow of history. Conclusion. The history of the Middle East is long, complex, and powerful. It is a story filled with great cities, strong empires, and deep beliefs. Many times, this region stood at the center of the world. Many times, it also faced war, invasion, and destruction. Yet one clear lesson appears again and again. Collapse was never the final chapter. When cities fell, new cities slowly rose from the ruins. When empires ended, new leaders and new ideas appeared. Destruction was often followed by creativity and renewal. After the Mongols destroyed Baghdad, new powers emerged in Egypt and Anatolia. After the Ottoman Empire collapsed, modern nations were formed. History here moves in cycles of rise, fall, and rebirth. This pattern teaches us about human resilience. People adapt even in the hardest conditions. They rebuild homes, schools, markets, and places of worship. They protect language, culture, and memory. They find new ways to survive and grow. Another lesson is that power never remains in one place forever. The center of the world can shift over time. Yesterday's superpower can become tomorrow's memory. Trade routes change, borders move, and alliances break. New technologies and ideas reshape societies quickly. The Middle East shows how connected our world has always been. Cultures mixed, religions spread, and knowledge traveled across continents. No civilization grew alone or stayed unchanged. This history also reminds us to think carefully about the future. Conflict leaves deep scars that last for generations, but cooperation and tolerance can create long periods of peace. The past warns us about division and pride. It also inspires us with stories of courage and wisdom. In the end, the Middle East is not only a place of conflict, it is a cradle of civilization and human achievement. Its story continues today, still shaping global politics and culture. By understanding its past, we better understand our shared human journey.
Hey there! Just a second before you go. If you learned something new today, please give this video a like, write your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel. It only takes a second, and it really, really helps to create even better English videos for you. Your support means the world. Thank you.